Welcome back to News Center. Thank you for staying with us. Now, residents of Meru County will be able to showcase their products in the LSK Show taking place from today, 6th, till on Saturday, the 9th. The highly agricultural part of the country is famous for production of potatoes and bananas. George Meringa now joins us live from Meru, where he is at the showground. George, good morning. So talk to us about the plans that have been ongoing in Meru County and what we could expect from that.
Good morning, Betty. Now, from the Madaraka Day last week's, beg your pardon, we do have the agricultural show here in Meru County, one that is set to showcase the county in terms of agriculture, in terms of other activities, also leading to research by, various institutions here. Where we are standing right now is, a stand belonging to Chuka University, and a few preparations are ongoing here and there with, the Chuka University and other institutions as well, preparing to, showcase what they have in the show that will begin from today, the 6th, to Saturday, the 9th. Behind me, on my right, we do have the Meru University of Science and Technology as well, which is also preparing in earnest to showcase what they have for this show. Coming up to this other side, where we have the Equity Bank as well, which will probably be showing or showcasing some of its products. We do also have to the extreme over there, the CIC Motors Group. You can spot a few tractors here and there regarding the show as well. Probably the tractors that could be used by farmers or for farming. And we also have the county government of Meru, which will also be showcasing probably presenting their products or what they do, basically. I could spot from here a stand for the governor's office. I could also the county assembly of Meru. I can also, far left, there is also the Kenya Methodist University, that is the KEMU. So a lot is happening, Betty, but it is just in the initial stages, because we understand that the show actually will be officially opened tomorrow by the governor of Meru, Kiraitu Murungi himself. So basically right now we do have the preparations ongoing, for the various institutions preparing to showcase their products, or, and more so, Betty, to clarify, is that Meru County, or the larger Meru area, has been known for, growing of Mira, that is the cash crop that has been known by many here in Meru. But there is also a lot happening, and I'll just speak to one of the doctors, or one of in charge of the here in one of the stands of the Chuka University, to just give us a brief of what exactly we can see behind Betty, because on my left we have some animals. That is the llama, and they're grazing, and we're intrigued to know what they are about, and more so why they are here. So we'll speak to one doctor, Dr. Monene, to just give us a brief of this, this event and this show and what they expect to gain from it. Thank you very much for joining us on KTN News. Now, first of all, why do you have this animal called the llama here?
Thank you very much
I'll put the mic
for having me. My name, as you said, is Dr. Monene Nderi from Chuka University. I'm a lecturer there. And we've come to this exhibition to showcase some of the innovations that we carry out in the university, whereby we have 3 mandates. One of them is research, the other one is teaching, the other one is extension. Now, as you've correctly put it, behind me we have an animal known as llama, which originated from South America. Now, this animal was brought to Chuka University by our Vice-Chancellor, Professor Elastas Nyaga Njoka, for research purposes. Now, one of the main reasons why we have llama in the university is that it is as an alternative form of agriculture. I know in Kenya, we are used to cattle, we are used to goats, we are used to sheep, but this is a unique animal which we want to introduce, do research on it, and see if now we can sell it to the farmers so that they can use it for an income and also as a source of food, since we know one of our goals in this country is food security. Yes.
You've mentioned that you'll introduce it to farmers. What are some of the benefits? Or, to a farmer, they would be like, this animal, probably some have never even seen it, and they would wonder, why should I adopt it, or why should I include it in my, for a farmer who rears, cows, goats, why would llama be an alternative?
Thank you very much for that question. One reason is that llama is a very economic animal to keep. They consume very little food. Like, for example, what you have as a food is just a common feeds, napier grass and other hays or other grasses. Yeah? They also consume very, very little. For example, I came with just have a sack of the feed, and that will be enough for 2 days. That's one of the benefits. And we know when it comes to livestock production, feed is a major challenge when it comes to farmers. It consumes about 60 to 70% of the cost of production. So by keeping a llama, it saves a lot on the cost of feeding. Then the other thing is that llama is used for meat. It produces meat, which is very rich in protein and other minerals like calcium, for example. Okay? Then is a source of milk, and the milk is very rich in calcium. Okay? And we know calcium is very essential for us, that is human beings, for elderly, the infants, and the like. So it's a very useful animal. Again, you can use it as a pack animal to carry some light load, okay? When you're going for recreation, you can have it for fun and things like that. They also produce manure, which is very rich in nutrients, which means, again, it can be used for soil fertility. And that's also a useful purpose when it comes to crop productivity.
Thank you very much, Betty. That has been Dr. Monene just giving us a brief of this interesting animal that is the llama here at the Meru Agricultural Show, LSK Show here in Meru County. Back to you, Betty.
Interesting. I've always loved llamas. Thank you for that, Judge Maringa. They're talking to us about the LSK Show happening in Meru County. All right, we now want to move on. And yesterday, the world celebrated the Environment Day, and the focus was on managing plastics across the globe. Rita Tina now takes a look at why managing this is important.
It is a day like any other at work for Simon Miner, sorting out plastics here in Kariobangi South. The plastics are sourced by youth from dumping sites, estates, shopping malls, and even companies, and sold to the Continental Renewable Energy Factory. Today, Simon Miner is segregating cooking oil containers, one of the types of plastics.
Kuna type tatu za material, kuna blow, kuna injection, na kuna kiti. Sasa blow ni kama mitungi, drums hivi, hiyo inachaguliwa kama iko kando. Alafu kuna injection kama karai, ndoo, thermos, masahani hivi.
Sorting plastic types is the first major step in the process. Colors also matter in recycling.
Kwanza unakota red, yellow na white. Then kuna blue na green. Blue inachaguliwa kiwa kando, alafu tunamalizia na green.
After sorting out types and colors, the plastics are crushed. In seconds, the plastics are turned into this. Tons and tons of already sorted plastics are lying at this Continental Renewable Energy Factory site waiting to be recycled. 100 tons of post-consumer plastics are crushed here every month, the beginning of a process that is not just about turning trash into cash, but also creating employment and cleaning the environment. From the crushing site in Kariobangi South, the plastics end up at another factory along Mombasa Road. Here, the plastics are mixed with low-sulfur river sand. The end product then goes through a screw feed, a heating machine with temperatures of up to 700 degrees centigrade, which melts the plastics into molten resin.
Now that molten resin is what is picked up to be pressed into whatever product that we intend.
The molten resin is put on this automated press machine designed to make drywall slabs.
For now, the machine is programmed that after 2 minutes, it opens up, and then you have the plungers pushing up the driveway blocks. Those slabs can carry a weight up to a weight of 22 tons.
A lot of pressure is required to press molten resin into 4 driveway slabs.
The press that is exerting the pressure is 200 tons on 1 square meter.
This machine is designed to make paving slabs. It takes 2.5 minutes to make 1 slab. From your trash, several other construction materials, such as fencing posts, lumber planks, signage posts, and roofing tiles are made.
And now that we've found a way on how to turn that garbage into building material, then the cost of construction should drastically go down, given that this is an opportunity that will enable Africa house themselves using their garbage.
Kenya banned the use of plastic carrier bags in August last year. The results are slowly beginning to be seen, at least at Dr. Agan's factory.
Not so much is generated into the dump sites.
But he argues saving the environment will take much more than imposing a ban.
What I think emphasis should be on setting up segregation centers and recycling centers of this nature at grassroots level.
For every 10 plastic posts produced, 1 tree is saved, a step of its kind in efforts to save and clean the environment. Rita Tinina, KTN News.
Interesting story there by Rita Tinina. All right, we now want to take a look at what's trending. And as always, my colleague Tandiwe Yego now joins me on set. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning, Betty. I'm doing fantastic. I'm actually so excited about the llama story. I can't wait to go to Meru. I love llamas. I think they're such weird animals, but also beautiful.
I got excited about it.
All right, so we're going to get started on what's trending across the globe today. Our first story is going to be the Kitale to Nairobi. Our second story is iconic designer commits suicide, and also hashtag Trump cancels Eagles visit. So let's get started with Kitale to Nairobi. As we've just seen on our big story, the flight from Kitale headed to Nairobi disappeared at around 2 a.m. in the morning yesterday, and they were unable to track the flight. And right now they're still searching for survivors, and people are so outraged at the fact that the KCCA has decided to wait to look for them. They decided that last night they would wait for morning to come to look for survivors. Our first tweet comes from Philip Petale. He said, light aircraft flying from Kitale to Nairobi has been lost on the radar. Let's pray for the 8 occupants. Fellow Kenyans. We know that there were 8 occupants and there were 2 crew. So apparently the search has been called off until tomorrow. My question is, what if the Kitale to Nairobi plane has crashed somewhere and there are survivors? That is the biggest question on people's minds. People might be out there, they've survived, but they're injured, and there is no time to waste. This statement by KCAA on the missing flight from Kitale to Nairobi, JKIA, is in poor taste. Have paused the search for the night and shall resume at first light tomorrow morning. The statement says, what if there are survivors? They endure the pain as you enjoy the night sleep. That is a very relevant question. We are not aware of where the survivors are or if they're even alive, but we will be giving you updates throughout the day. Moving on to the next story, which is Kate Spade's suicide. Now, if you don't know who Kate Spade is, she's an iconic designer from New York, and she was found dead in her New York apartment at the age of 55. And this really brings to key the issue of mental health and mental awareness, because fans are trying to say that people, no matter what you have, no matter how much money, success, and fame, mental illness is something that always has to be brought to the forefront. And we're just going to take a bit of a look at what Kate was famous for, which was designing handbags. Take a look at the clip. She was known for her love of handbags and her sophisticated designs, and lots of outpouring of love and support from celebrities like Anna Wintour, the editor-in-chief of Vogue, Reese Witherspoon, and comedian Kathy Griffin have been pouring. People saying how emotionally distressed they are that they've lost such an iconic designer. And as I said, she committed suicide within her home in New York. And we can just take a bit of a tour and see what her home was like.
This is my entry hall / foyer. It was actually one of the reasons I bought the apartment, because I loved the fact that you had some breathing space when you walked in the room. And we decided to fill it, obviously, with a lot of art. It's very much like art design. It's very much like how I dress. There's some favorite pieces that I love here. I mean, I particularly love this one over here. She reminds me of my mother. And I love this of David Hockney. I mean, there are a lot of amazing pieces. It's high and low, just things that we like. I love this one of John and Jackie Kennedy. And we included our daughter's work because I feel like she deserves as much credit in this room. So I want her work to feel as important. Now come on in.
She definitely will be missed. And on to our next and final story. Trump is at it again, and this time it's with American athletes. So the Philadelphia Eagles just won the 2018 Super Bowl, and if you know that American football is very, very, very big to Americans, they worship and almost treated like a religion. So the Super Bowl winners, the Eagles, refused a visit to the White House. There's always a visit to the White House to celebrate the Super Bowl victory with the fans and with the football players, but the NFL players are refusing to attend the visit to the White House because of differences that they have with Trump's political stances, and mostly because of racial issues within the country. As you've been seeing around the country, what's been going on with the Black Lives Matter movement, and Black Americans are very, very upset, especially NFL players. And as you can see in the footage, Colin Kaepernick is the one who started this protest by kneeling down during the playing of the national anthem during the NFL games, and it all started a domino effect. Players started to refuse standing, which is a sign of respect, showing respect to the national anthem, but they have completely refused to do this. Only about 10 of them accepted the invitation to the White House, and Trump decided that since only a few of them are coming, let's cancel the entire thing all together. And this has brought a lot of tension within the United States, within the NFL league. And Betty, that is all we have for today. We're gonna move into our next story from you, Betty.
Interesting. And that story for kids made really, really sad.
Yeah, it's very sad.
It's so sad, you know, from Avicii and then her now. But anyway, like you said, it's time that we take seriously mental issues to do with mental health.
Indeed.
All right, let's now continue with our coverage and want to move on to our developing story. And suspects in the multi-billion NYS scandal face fraud charges. They will remain in police remand after an anti-graft court denied them bail Tuesday. Chief Magistrate Douglas Ogoti said that the crimes were serious and could lead to anarchy and a threat to the nation. Now, our crime and investigative reporter Hussein Mohammed has been following the NYS scandal at the court and now brings us this report.
43 suspects lined up in the Milimani coast Tuesday afternoon. From the Ngirita's family of Naivasha to the suspended Director General of NYS, Richard Dubai. The courtroom was silent as the magistrate read out his verdict on the bail application.
I find that the charges facing the accused persons are grave offences affecting the economy of the country as a whole and thereby posing serious threat to the financial health of the country and, in the opinion of the court, which can lead to anarchy, threat to peace, and threat to national security.
Lawyers sat closely to their clients as the public awaited to know the fate of the suspects. The prosecution opposed the bail application, saying that the suspect could interfere with the available evidence. But the defense on their part argued that the clients were entitled to bail. But at the end, it was back to remand.
The court has put in place elaborate measures by the way of pre-trial conferencing to ensure speedy trials in these cases. For this reason, also bail is denied, as the trials will not delay. All parties are encouraged to participate fully in the pre-trial conferences and allow the trials to hit the road as soon as possible.
He said that though the suspect was still presumed innocent, economic crimes were detrimental to the public.
actions lead to economic sabotage and deny Wanjiku, the common citizen, basic rights including but not limited to good health, education, employment, food, shelter, and leads to death.
The accused persons, ranging from the lowest ranked officials to top managers, are alleged to have conspired to commit fraud and steal 468 million and are expected to remain in remand until the end of the trial. The National Youth Fund scandal case now opens a new chapter as pre-trial conferences begin tomorrow and hearing dates as early as July. Hussein Mohammed, KTN News at the Milimani Law Courts, Nairobi.
All right, so I want to bring in my colleague Merimi Mwangi, who's joining us from the Milimani Law Courts. Merimi, good morning. So talk to us about where exactly are we at, who's in police remand, who's still out. Maybe you could just give us really an analysis of where we are at.
Well, good morning, Betty. The cross-examination stage is what is happening in the NYS cases today. Remember, this comes only a day after that verdict by Chief Magistrate Douglas Ogoti that the suspects are to remain in police custody up until the time of conclusion of the ongoing trial. As at the cross-examination stage, remember, this is where the prosecution is going to lay bare like how many witnesses they have, and then the court will make a determination on how much time each of the witnesses will be allocated, how much time will be allocated for cross-examination. But perhaps also expected to happen today is appeals against that verdict yesterday. I was speaking to a few of the defense lawyers, and they indeed confirmed that they will be moving to the High Court, likelihood of 3 simultaneous appeals, one at the Constitutional Division of the High Court, challenging the constitutionality of the verdict that was arrived at yesterday. And there is also talk of a likely appeal in which some of the defense lawyers will be seeking the High Court's intervention to bar Chief Magistrate Douglas Ogoti from handling this particular matter. Remember, he had indicated that earliest time when hearings can begin from his verdict yesterday could be sometime in July. The suspects have been in police custody for slightly over a week now. And of course, it is a case that has put the judiciary, and in particular the anti-corruption court here at Milimani on the spotlight at a time when the country is grappling with the war on corruption. In the first phase of these NYS cases, remember, the spotlight is on some 468 million, which is suspected to be part of the larger NYS scam of 8 billion shillings that is still under investigations, and that is what we will be expecting. Remember, 3 of the suspects that had presented themselves in court yesterday but who had not taken their plea were of course asked to be taken by the police into custody before they can be brought formally to take their plea. We expect that is going to be happening today. I walked out of the courtroom a few minutes ago when the magistrate had requested for some additional 20 minutes for the suspects that are supposed to be taking plea under his court to be brought to court. And therefore, it is a day yet again where the Chief Magistrate Court here at Milimani will be on the spotlight, even as we check on developments at the High Court, where we understand some appeals might be filed against that particular verdict yesterday. Betty.
It's an update of where we are at with the NYS scandal. We'll continue to follow that for you. But for now, I want to focus our attention on the developing story, and we want to go back to that missing Cessna Caravan aircraft, which went missing on Tuesday evening. The light aircraft with a maximum of 8 passengers and 2 crew members was en route to the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport from Kitale. We now want to bring in my colleague Caroline B, joining us from Njabini, where we understand some of the rescuers are currently assembling at. Caroline, what do you know so far?
Well, Betty, first of all, I'm going to tell you about the weather. It is very chilly and misty here, and it's also rainy. As we were making our way here, we could not actually see through the road, and that means that we had to actually try and just make our way here. But I can tell you the situation of the weather is not as good as it could be in Nairobi, and we have already received a warning from the police officers here on the ground that if at all this continues, then they are not going to start the operations immediately. immediately. They are waiting for it to go down, especially the mist. Right here with me or behind me here is a KWS chopper, which is supposed to go to the ground, which is the forest nearby. First of all, they have assembled here at Njambini Boys to see the way forward. There are some of them, including KWS officers, the Kenya Forest Service officers, and the National Police, including CID officers here on the ground. And they are saying that they are trying to get all the information. They are not yet sure where the plane is located, but it is inside that forest. So, and they say that the way they're going to get there is through foot. And you can imagine it's inside a forest. The fact that it's a thicket, it's a very thick, it's going to actually hamper operations. And it is the same situation that they reported last evening, saying that they could not go on with rescue or search operations since the weather could not allow. It was very dark and they were not sure. They actually had to stop that. And this is the same situation we are reporting here. The fact that it's raining, it's misty, and the weather is not favorable. So they are waiting so that once the weather is good enough, they are going to proceed to the ground. Betty?
All right, Caroline, we'll be coming back to you in a few minutes. But for now, though, we also just want to cross over to the Western Hotel. Remember, like I mentioned earlier, the family and friends of the people who are on board that missing aircraft converged there since yesterday evening. Julie, thank you for joining us. I understand that you have a family member. Talk to us.
Wilson Airport, kampuni ya ndege. Hakuna ripoti tunapata, sisi wenyewe ndo tunasimama, lakini wengine ambayo wako na nini kusafiri na helikopta nini, tumesikia wameenda na helikopta kutafuta watu wao, lakini sisi tunasubiria tu hapa. Mara wanasema inaletwa na helikopta hapa, bado hatukupata confirmation full.
Nafahamu kwamba ni wakati mgumu sana kwa familia iwapo kwa sasa bado hamjabaini kwamba mmoja wenu yuko sawa ama hayuko sawa. Huenda pengine mlijaribu kupiga simu na kudhibiti iwapo wako sawa.
Tumepiga simu huko Kitale, hata simu yake yeye mwenyewe hakuna, yani hatukupata life or dead, yani kama imekufa ama kama wako hai. Lakini mimi mwenyewe nimesikia kwa news ya radio za kawaida ndege imeanguka, imepatikana vile imecrash, lakini hawakushughulika. Wanasema bado haijashughulikiwa kutolewa, yani uhakika kabisa hatukupata bado.
Unasema kwamba kampuni ya ndege waliwapigia simu kila mmoja ama ulifika tu hapa mkitaka kujua ni nini kilichotendeka?
Kuna habari tumpate, watu mmoja amepata habari ambayo inasema ndege imeanguka, lakini mimi sikusikia kampuni walipigia mtu ama wanasema ndege imeanguka saa fulani, lakini fununu tu tumepata ndege kama imeanguka. Jo tulikuwa tunangoja kwa airport to collect back home, tukaona sasa ndege hakuna mali nyingine imeland, baadaye tukasikia ndege imeanguka.
Pengine mmoja wenu natumai kwamba huwa anasafiri akitumia kutoka Kitale ama Nairobi, changamoto kama hii pengine ashawahi kupitia?
Bado alikuwa anatoka Lodwar, Kitale, Eldoret. Hatukuwahi pata hiyo changamoto kama hiyo.
Maswali yangu ya mwisho nauliza kwa unyenyekevu, kama familia, sijui mnahisi vipi sasa ama matarajio yenu ni nini?
Kila mtu anaelewa kama mtu yako amekufa vile utaizi, yani ni huzuni chungu kidogo. Ameacha familia, mtoto na mama, pia wazazi wake. Sisi ni wakazi pia, ametoacha. No option, yani tunaongoja tu, ni amri ya Mwenyezi Mungu. Sisi ni Waislamu.